The next question will be our last question. Dr. Yi, is protein important for our brain at different stages of life?
Okay, so protein is important for our brain in all sorts of the different stages of life. For example, in children in particular, protein is important for our brain. Like I mentioned before, there are for children who are very malnourished, they will have difficulties working their brain later on in life. They might have behavioral issues. They will have difficulty with learning. They have they hit those developmental milestones a little bit slower than children who had a very robust nutrition. So protein is one of those nutrients that is particularly important because it helps support brain health, and it also helps slow cognitive decline. So not only is it good for children, that it's really good for the adults as well. So for adults, research has shown that for adults who take in a lot of protein, it's not only good for their muscles, for their bones, but it's also good for their brain because it can help slow cognitive decline. So if you looked at the dietary habits and health of a lot of people, generally the ones who have more protein intake will have a lower odds of developing these cognitive declines later on in life. Because the protein is used by your brain in all sorts of ways. It's used by your brain not only to help make the brain cells, but also to help the supporting cells in your brain as well, the connective tissue around your brain as well. So in a child, that's especially important because they're still growing, they're still making all of these connections. They're still, forming all of these new neurons to make these connections. So they need all sorts of protein. So your brain isn't just neurons. There are supporting cells in there as well to help support the functions of your neurons. And those supporting cells, they also need a lot of protein. So, children with protein who have enough protein, they are better able to think clearly, concentrate, to learn. Inadequate protein, especially in a child's diet, not only affects how their brain develops and their behavioral issues, but it can also have a further impact on their learning as well, because it can impact their concentration. It can impact how well they are learning in school. So it's a lot of things that will just sort of snowball on in life, especially when they're kids, because they're so small. So just a small thing can have far-reaching consequences that we don't necessarily know about yet. So it's important for kids to get a lot of protein from healthy sources.
Thank you, Dr. Yi, for taking your time to educate us regarding health today.
Thank you so much, everyone, for taking the time out of your Saturday morning to listen to my talk. I hope that after listening to my talk, your brain feels healthier, and I hope that you found it both entertaining and informative.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. This video will be accessible until April 12th, 9 a.m. Take care and stay safe. Goodbye!